the maple tree. The winter season has stripped it of its summer shade and fall glory on the outside. But there's something very special going on inside the tree. So we're here at H&H Sugar Bush, where they take sap from maple trees and turn it into amazing maple syrup. It's a fascinating process, and we're here with Kirk Heading to see it firsthand. So Kirk, what kind of maple trees do you have here, and how do you tap for maple syrup?
So we have sugar maples and black maples. We have reds and silvers. You can tap any type of maple tree and receive sap from that tree to be able to make maple syrup. Our primary source here is sugar maples. It gives you a little bit higher sugar content, so it's a little bit less work in the long run for making that maple syrup compared to red maples or silvers. We start the season off by drilling a hole, 5/16 hole into the tree, and that's where the sap will come out from. We use a spile or a tap to put into the tree that directs the sap into the container, or as you can see, the tubing system that we use for collection. What we're doing is we're actually just drawing a negative atmosphere in the lines, making it easier for the sap to actually leave the tree and go down the lines themselves. If you were using gravity system with buckets or bags or any other kind of containers to collect that sap, you usually average about 10 gallons of sap in a full season. With using the vacuum, making a negative atmosphere in that area, we're able to grab about 20 gallons of sap during that whole season.
That is really incredible. What conditions do you need to tap for the sap?
The conditions based primarily on weather. We're looking for those nice warm days of nice sunshine that starts warming up the day above freezing. So we're looking at late winter, early spring. And then we also look for the freezing nights. It keeps the tree from coming out of full dormancy throughout the winter. And it has the tree not using the sap yet for its own nutrients. So that's the best time for grabbing that sap is during those times.
So Kirk, explain to me how the shed works.
So the shed is at the lowest point of the woods, and that allows the sap to naturally come to that point. As you can see, with all of our blue lines, they all go to that shed. So every tap that we have in our woods, all the sap comes down those lines to that one point. Inside the shed, we have a vacuum pump. So you hear a little bit of a hum in the background, and that is the vacuum pump putting the negative atmosphere in those lines to allow the sap come down those lines a little bit better, a little bit smoother, to allow us to get more sap out of the trees.
So this is the sugar shack where all the sap gets boiled.
Yeah, so sugar shack, sugar house, same terminology, kind of the same place. It's where we take all the sap that's pumped from our woods, gets pumped all the way up to here, and that's where we process the sap. When I talk about processing the sap, all we're doing is removing water. So as we're cooking it, we're checking for temperature. Right around 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, which is average right around 219 degrees for us. That's right around when the syrup is done. For maple syrup, we actually have 4 different grades. Early in the season, our sugar content in the sap is a little bit higher, so we don't have to cook it as long. We don't have to remove as much water. As the time goes on, the sugar content's a little bit lower in the sap, so we actually got to cook away more water and ends up with a darker syrup and much stronger flavor that way.
Wow. No, I can definitely tell the difference between these two.
Yeah.
About 4.24 million gallons of maple syrup are produced in the United States every year, with most of that coming from the Northeast and Midwest. Michigan is one of the top 5 maple syrup producing states, with 195,000 gallons a year. So the next time you pour maple syrup on your pancakes or waffles, remember where it came from and the cool story behind bringing you that rich, sweet flavor.